Due to popular request, I'm showing you today how I make my Sylvanas. Let's get started. For the wafers, you need 1 cup egg whites, 1 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon cream of tartar, 1/2 cup of finely chopped cashew nuts, 1/2 cup of finely crushed rosquillos, or you can use graham, or you can use Marie biscuits. Butter icing for the Sylvanas, you need 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of premium refrigerated margarine, 1 cup of very cold evaporated milk, 1.5 cups of sifted confectioner's sugar, 2 tablespoons of rum, crushed rosquillos or graham or Marie biscuits or dried cake crumbs. Today we will make our Sylvanas. You need 1 cup of egg whites, 1 cup. Now, I'm not telling you how many pieces. It doesn't matter how many eggs you break as long as you get 1 cup egg whites, alright? Then you have cream of tartar. And then we're going to whip this. And then once it starts to form very soft peaks, we add in 1 cup of sugar. We can add the sugar now. If you have a small mixer or you're using a hand mixer, please add the sugar gradually. So you allow the egg whites to take in the sugar. If you have a KitchenAid or a heavy duty mixer, you can add the sugar all at one time. Okay? You whip it only a maximum of number 8 in the KitchenAid. If you have a hand mixer, you can do number 3 or the highest speed. Alright, I want to show you my secret when I make Sylvanas. This is for commercial use. I have here cashew nuts and rosquillos, which is a Cebuano cookie. If you don't have rosquillos, you can use Marie biscuits or you can use graham crackers. Instead of using 1 cup of the nuts, I used 1/2 of the nuts and 1/2 of the biscuits. Okay? This is how I extend the nuts. You mix them together, and this way you can sell your Silvanas a little bit cheaper. I tell you, your customers will not be able to tell that it's half kasui and half crackers. Here we check if it's stiff now. Look, it is stiff. See? And you will notice it's shiny. Very fine, okay? Alright, here you can fold this in or you can just put it in on top. If you want a Sylvana with bigger volume, then you put the nuts on top. Don't mix it in, because the moment you mix the nuts into the egg whites, it will start to deflate, especially if you're working with a big batch and you cannot finish forming them. So what you do is, I just put this on top because nuts contain oil. Once you add it to the egg whites, it will slowly release the oil, and egg whites do not like oil. Alright? So here, I have an acrylic mold for Sylvanas. If you don't have this, you can just pipe it, okay? For those of you who are in business, this is really, this will really make your life so much easier, okay? So let's put here. If you're in Cebu, we also sell this in our store. If you live outside of Cebu, you can give us a call and we can ship it to you. You only need 1, okay? Because we're not going to put this in the oven. We're just using this as a mold. We spread this out like this. A little bit. By the way, you can also pipe this instead of using the spatula. Okay, and then here, see, and then go back until you fill everything up. And the nice thing about this is you get perfectly round. Alright? And then what I do is I sprinkle this on top. You know, when you sandwich them together, they will not know if the nuts are inside or outside, okay? But as I said, if you want to do it the traditional way, you can fold it in. But I tell you, you get less volume. And then you spread this, pat this, because if you don't pat this, what happens is they will fall off, okay? By the way, we bake this at 300 degrees or 325 for about 30 to 40 minutes, okay? Let's take this out. Transfer this to a tray and bake it. See how quick it is? Let's make the butter icing for the Sylvanas. This is a typical Filipino butter icing. I'm using margarine, premium margarine or refrigerated margarine with butter. You can use all butter. Don't use all margarine, okay? And then we have powdered sugar. Make sure it's sifted. Make sure your butter and your refrigerated margarine is soft but not melted. If it's soft but not melted, you add the sugar. Just in case your butter and your margarine are still cold, you cream it first before you add the sugar. And then, next, this is very cold evaporated milk. You add this 1 tablespoon at a time. Another way to make the butter icing is what they call condensed milk butter icing. But that is not a traditional Silvana icing. For the condensed milk butter icing, what you need is 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of premium margarine, and 1 can of condensed milk. So you don't need evaporated milk and sugar anymore. You add it 1 tablespoon at a time, and then you make sure that it's well incorporated before you add in the next tablespoon. If you use the condensed milk, you also add the condensed milk 1 tablespoon at a time. And you chill your condensed milk, okay? Addition of the milk gradually is very important, so please don't make a shortcut and pour in half or 1/4 cup at a time, because the icing will break. Remember, we're trying to make an emulsion because normally oil and water do not mix. So by adding it slowly, we are creating an emulsion. By the way, you mix it until the color lightens. It means you have incorporated air. And last, you add in, you can use vanilla, but I always like to add rum. This is the rum. It's not a rum extract, it's the real rum. It doesn't matter if it's 5 years old, any rum. What I do is, I add rum to take out the, we call this in Bisaya bigli. In Tagalog, they call it the umay taste from the butter. Don't worry, the alcohol content is very, very little. You can hardly taste it. Now, if you're going to make mocha Sylvanas, chocolate Sylvanas, then you add coffee or chocolate to your butter icing, okay? You never flavor the wafers. You only flavor the icing and then the corresponding coating. If it's chocolate, then use chocolate cookies or chocolate cake which is toasted. If you want to make mocha, you make mocha cake and then get the crumbs and then dry it in the oven. Okay, this one is good now. Let's take it out. Okay, I'll show you. This is how our butter icing will look like. See? Alright. We will set this aside and we will wait for the wafers to cool. Here, you take them out. See how easily you can take them out. They are very fragile. If you want to make them thicker, you can. There are some shops here where they make their Sylvanas really thick, okay? To assemble the Sylvanas, this is labor intensive, okay? First, you put some butter icing. By the way, the amount of butter icing you put in is dependent on how much you want to sell this for, okay? And then put them together like this. And then put the sides. Next, you roll this in the crumbs like this. Okay? Oh, I don't have icing here. You'll know if you forgot to put icing because the crumbs will not stick. Okay, then you know there's a possibility that it will break because it's very fragile. Like this one, when I took it out, it broke, but you don't have to worry because when you put icing, they will stick together. And always keep the Sylvanas in the freezer. Don't put them in the refrigerator because it will lose its crispiness. In the refrigerator, it will stay crispy for a long time. Okay? For me, what makes Sylvanas expensive? It's labor intensive. That's it. Okay? So here's your Sylvanas. Right? Let's make another one. Okay, I'll use a broken one so you can see that you can use it again. You can still use it, see, here. Okay? It will just stick together. If you make this at home, what you can do is sandwich everything together and then put the, icing on the sides, dip them in the biscuits, and then do the top and the bottom. Okay? So it's easier for you to work. Then you do this one by one. Okay? You know, you can make more meringue, more wafers, if you just put the, when you bake it, remember, I just put the nuts on top, because if you put the nuts, if you mix the nuts all over, you will notice that you get less yield because the egg whites will start to deflate because of the oil from the nuts. Okay, so like this. So you put it in the refrigerator, in the freezer like this. Then once it has it's chilled, the icing has already set, then you can put them side by side, put them in the container and wrap them. All right. After you finish one tray, immediately put this in the freezer because once the wafer touches the butter icing, it will start to soften. Okay, so put this in the freezer and then we'll take this out once it has set, and then I'll show you how to wrap them if you want to sell. All right, I have many recipes to share with you. If you're interested, please like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you can be alerted when a new video is uploaded. If you want to sell your Sylvanas, if you have a container that will fit it nicely, then it's fine. But normally, this is how it's sold. This has been in the freezer. So you see, it's so easy to handle. Okay, let's just say our Sylvanas are 6 pieces, okay? So, you roll them like that. And you put them in a box, or you put them in plastic before you give this to the customer. All right, so this is your Sylvanas. We were able to make 72 pieces, which is 36 pairs. Okay, so one recipe made 36 pairs.